with Vessel Futures Trading. We're back in the market. Today we're going to extend the talk on the NASDAQ and on the news and Trump's speech and notification, etc., etc. You know, for our community member, I want to say good morning. Of course, we're broadcasting live from our Discord channel. Good morning to all our members, all our traders. Well, whoever was in the last week's sessions in the Discord will find out that none of them is truly a full surprise about why the price had been jumped right in 6 p.m. last evening. Well, we saw it very clearly how the price, and we're going to show you right now where before we're going to start deep diving. We see this gap, this huge gap over here, huge gap that comes as an effect of Trump's speech about go buy stocks, deal with China, tariffs, whatever not. But all this is good and nice, but truly, if you are trading with us, you already know you're not trading the news. The news is gonna only support your decision making, but you can already see it implementing it. It's the graph before the news is being released, and none of them is truly a surprise. Why am I saying that? Because the last at least 3 weeks, for 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, we covered this position all the way from the major supply to the major demand. We see how the price reacted to those specific minor supply areas, and when you reach the minor supply over here, we did not short position it as a market command. We saw already by the volume and the candles that there's no support to get to our short position, and therefore we did not enter short position. Even we was in the supply area, we still look for the opportunities within the days to long it, and because this is the main reason why we did not see any validation candle that basically gonna cross the doji candles over here to make us believe that the market is gonna short again. We can short position it towards lower price, a discounted price, of course, when Trump started to speak about the tariffs again, and China deal we can see being implemented in this huge gap. So obviously it's an uptrend today. We're gonna look for the long position. I already said that over here we will place the position before when we missed it by a chance, by an inch, we say. We'll dive into this a bit later, but let's look how does it look in the weekly interval. The weekly interval clearly show we're in an uptrend. We're going from a major to a major, now trying to achieve the next supply pull, order blocks, if you want to call it that. Well, let's go the day interval. We see in the day interval how clearly is shown that basically we're crossing this minus supply pull, this order block, in order to achieve to go to the next station, and we're gonna look for the next position in. So I want to look at the market profile. This is the night profile. We see basically a double distribution day, and we see it very clearly how the price. I want to mark it for you guys. How the price basically reacts within the night. We see a clear double distribution. We see right here. Sorry, I'll take it from here. Short, but it's not even. It's basically like double distribution, not a lag. It's a double distribution. Means that the price jumped, started. We see the initial balance over here. For those of you who doesn't know what it is, I highly recommend for you to take our courses, get a little bit more familiar with the market and how to trade. This is not a gambling, it's a methodology. You have to learn, you have to be expert before you get into the market. At least you have some basic knowledge. A lot of you still are DM me about when they get into the market, seeking for advisors. Of course, we're not giving any advices over here. This is not substitution for financial advice. This is a disclaimer. I'm always putting this on our channels. You should always consult with your financial advisor. But just as a general thought, there is no real need to rush into the market unless you know what you're doing. Of course, don't catch on the hype. You can listen to the news, you can read the papers, it's good, but you have to have a very systematic and consistent methodology where you can learn and implement and execute in a very strict way. So we can see over here the initial balance is a short initial balance, but basically tells us that it's a very high possibility that the price will expand upwards and downwards. This time it was all expanding upwards, obviously, and now the price trying to, in this area, find out a good area to be trade. Of course, we're gonna look for the long position from here upward, and we're gonna make sure that the price land back on the pool over here, the demand pool, the minor demand pool, and reaching upwards. So we missed this position, so what we're gonna do, we're just gonna modify it quickly. Basically, we're going to even make it a bit better for us, risking $4,000 in order to create $30,000, which is not that far-fetched. Now we'll show you why exactly I put it over there. Actually, it was almost accurate, because even almost $35,000 by risking only $4,020 for 240. So why we took this position? Obviously, we see the wide gap between those supply areas, and we see where our command is based. So if we trade in the 4-hour trade interval, we might be need to lower this buy limit towards here, towards this pool, and basically wait for the price to get the correction. Basically, the price will react, sit back on this pool, which used to be the supply pool, now became a demand one, and flip back towards the next supply area. Because we're not gonna trade this interval, we're gonna trade within the day. We're gonna look for the long position with a 50 minutes interval. And basically, this interval right here shows us, if we're gonna cancel this one over here, just to make sure that is a bit more clear, we can obviously clearly see that we have a demand pool over here created, which is also gonna now put it back again parallel to the low value area of the double distribution day where we formed. Right here we can see very clearly it's an institutional buyer. We can see those cubes, so one cube shape. It's institutional buyer pushing the price up, creating a new demand for us over here. Therefore, we're gonna look for this position upward. So this is our trending idea for today. Of course, we're gonna elaborate in the group today in the Discord channel. And if you're still not part of this community, I highly recommend for you to tune in. It's a free education. You're gonna meet a lot of traders over there. They all about getting enrich their knowledge and familiarize themselves with new traders, with their methodologies. We highly recommend to tap along to this channel. Why? Because with trending by a friend is always better to get support of community. You don't want to do it by yourself. Why? Because this journey is can be very much more interesting, more fun when you share your thoughts with and your difficulties and your winnings with a group of traders. So I wish you successful trading, and I'm going to see you on the next market overview. Have a successful day.